Hi everyone, this is Dr. Dale and this is Natural Health Radio, and I'm on Facebook Live for you today. We are coming from sunny Ventura, California, and I hope that that you can hear me, because usually I see a lot of people online and I'm not sure, even though it says it's live. Oh, okay, I can see some people are getting through. Thank you so much. This is Natural Health Radio, and we are coming to you from sunny California and Ventura area. We are going to talk about CBD today. Tell all your friends to tune in. And then when this is done, you're going to want to share this because it's a lot of good information about cannabidiols and using CBD, as well as a brand new pharmaceutical. The pharmacy is in on it. Pharmacies and the big pharma is now has created their own formula for seizures for children aged 2 years and older. And it's called Epidiolex. And that, I'm not sure if it's the real thing, if it's real CBD. I tend to doubt it. It could be a synthetic. It could be not only a synthetic, it could be an isolate. So we know that CBD can be purchased in all kinds of forms. And the big pharma is now coming out with their own CBD called Epidiolex. Okay, and that is going to be for children aged 2 years or older, but it's probably synthetic, and I would be very, very careful about buying anything that the big pharma makes. And we have to also look at sourcing. Where do they source the plants? We'd have to look at all of these things. So I don't recommend buying CBD from the big pharma, which is a synthetic one that you can get. So for children age 2 or older for seizures, it's, because CBD is proven to work for seizures for kids and for adults as well. It's also shown to have a phenomenal impact on dealing with cancer. So CBD is a phenomena. It works. If you use the natural whole plant, if you use the natural formulas, it works. There's no research on if synthetics work. It's just that it's cheaper, and the big pharma wants to make a product, a CBD product. They want to control that. That's why CBD is still a Schedule 1. Okay, and I feel that that's going to change very, very soon. CBD is a Schedule 1 because it has THC in it, okay, which is the psychoactive part that gets you high and weird, okay? So, but if you use CBD with low THC, 3% or less, and it's from the whole plant, then you're going to have a very powerful formula that is going to heal multiplicity of things. So including insomnia, it'll be better than any drug you could ever take for insomnia, including seizures for children and adults. But be aware to take the natural CBD from the whole plant, not to get something that the big pharma is creating that is a synthetic. And you want to be very careful to examine this. So I'm not sure that it's a synthetic, but information is out every day. It's coming out, and I will keep you posted and let you know if the Epidiolex is a synthetic or not. I will do the research and let you know. This is all news that we want to pay attention to if we're interested in CBD, and if we're interested in exploring it or we already use it. Stay focused on using the one that's from the whole plant. So very important to use the one that's from the whole plant, because that is natural CBDs. You want to make sure the THC level is under 3%. And if you get a good CBD from hemp, it will be. And you have to just make sure of the percentage of THC in the plant itself. So what can you use CBD for? My goodness, you can use it for insomnia, as I was saying, for works very good for seizures. It's proven. But this is the natural CBD from the plant. This is not a synthetic CBD. So we need to really be diligent. If we're going to take a CBD, make sure it's from the whole plant. Do your research on whatever product that you're using to make sure it's from the whole plant, because otherwise it may not work, but even more than that, it could have side effects. What you're doing when you take a whole plant CBD is there's no side effects, and it should say on it from the CBD from the whole plant, not isolate, not synthetic, because the research is not available on that. And what that will do, it's a completely different entity, a completely different substance. And we have to be aware that there are lots of things out there that mimic good things, okay, to take. So, for example, you don't want to take synthetic vitamins. You want to take natural food-based vitamins. You want to take vitamins that are going to work, and those are the ones that are natural. Just like CBD, the ones that work are the ones that are natural from hemp. So we have also phenomenal research. I'm going to give you a story that I have about a patient of mine that I sent to a MD that works with cannabis, because this patient had lung cancer and they told him there was nothing else they could do, and they gave him a month to live. You know, they said very short period of time to live, so we have nothing else for you. And so he came to me and I said, I'm going to send you to my cannabis doctor. Being that it's in your lungs, what the doctor is going to do is I recommend using a inhaler. So an inhaler can be used with a formula that's created for each individual, and that's what happened. That's what we did with this patient. And after doing it for 2 months, he had it retested, and the tumor had shrunk, and it was almost not visible. And that was after 2 months of doing an inhaler, CBD in an inhaler that was specifically formulated for this patient. And so because it's in the lungs, we had to get it into the lungs. If you just took it orally, it wouldn't have the same effect. You have to get it to where it needs to be in the body. And so I know that in the future, CBD will be made in a number of different ways so that it can have different applications for the human body. I think it's a very viable substance for treating many difficult conditions like cancer. Of course, there are other things that deal with cancer naturally, and those are some of the things we're going to talk about today. So get your friends on board, get some information going for them so that we can help people, give them ideas and education about natural things that they can investigate for cancer. So one of those things would be the CBD, like we've been discussing. Another one would be homeopathic medicine. It's called Viscum album or mistletoe. It's also known by a couple of other names, but it's given in Europe IV for cancer with excellent results, meaning that people feel better. And along with that, a vitamin mineral program. Along with that, I would suggest doing ozone. And there is an immunotherapy that is done in other countries and starting to do in this country called immune therapy. And that's where you take the blood, the patient's blood, you know, a drawing phlebotomist or nurse would have to draw the blood, and then they would ozonate the blood and then use it as a powerful injection in your body. And they would get it back into your body, and that ozone that's in your blood would kill all the viruses. Okay, I've seen that work very well as well. And then there's ozone colonics, which work very well for colon cancer. There's a number of different things to explore, to investigate, and to educate yourself about. One of the most important things that I can tell you for cancer is that you have to work with a vegan diet and juicing and colonics. It's not just using one thing. It's using a combination of things that work together, that work to promote healing in a very powerful way. So it's a healing program for cancer would include many different things like diet, like colonics, like green drinks. Of course, we're talking about colonics with ozone. We're talking about doing immunotherapy with the blood with ozone, and we're talking also about CBD, and that would be a great combination of things. Not even to mention that an IV of viscomalbum, or the other name for it is called mistletoe, and it is sold by a brand name, and you can get that in hospitals in Europe, and they give it to you via IV, which is getting it right into your blood. So homeopathy is awesome for cancer as well. Just imagine a program combining all of these things, okay, and then offering the patient emotional support so that they can help their immune system be so much more powerful because of their positivity, because they believe they're going to get well. I mean, doing all of these great things for yourself when you have cancer, if you have cancer, okay, and if you have a negative attitude, it would actually make these things not work, okay? So your attitude has to be positive. Like in your mind, you know that you're going to get better. In your mind, you're already better. And so coming from that positive place of creation, okay, coming from the positive place of creating an experiential reality where you know you are well now, that is exactly what you need to do when you have a serious condition, whatever that may be. Okay, plus all of the other things that we're talking about. Related to CBD, a lot of people are unsure if they should try it. They're afraid they don't want to get high, or some afraid they're not going to get high. Either way, one of the important things to know is that your brain, your body makes endocannabinoids already. You make your own endocannabinoids, which are naturally occurring, and sometimes they are very deficient in the human body. And so by taking clean, organic CBD with very little, if any, THC in it, is just going to replace the missing endocannabinoids in your body, the ones you're deficient in. And these endocannabinoids contain terpenes, and terpenes are natural plant chemicals that have different actions in the body. One of them, one of them can actually make you sleep quicker. Another one can be used for helping the immune system even better. So the natural plant has different cannabinoids in it, as well as it has terpenes in it, which are the naturally occurring plant chemicals. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure we know a little bit about our program and what we're going to be doing, and also that our program for any health condition, no matter how severe it is, has to include vitamins, minerals, nutraceuticals from plants, from food, okay, and natural without any preservatives or magnesium stearate or stearic acid or food coloring. It has to have none of those fillers, and it has to be in veggie caps. So you have to have a vegan diet with it where you're eating a lot of vegetables every day with every meal and doing green drinks. So green drinks are important, and the green drink would be not one little sprig of kale, but stuffing your Vitamix full of kale and putting in other vegetables that are really healthy for you, which is basically most of them. Okay, not potatoes. That's not anything green goes in your Vitamix, or anything green gets steamed. Okay, and then you can put pure olive oil on it. Olive oil is terrific for your body. Okay, organic, raw olive oil. You can even drink, a little shot glass, a quarter of a ounce a day of olive oil is known to bring your HDL level up, make it higher. That's good. We want the HDL, the high density lipoprotein. We want that to be increased. We have to know, and we have to remember that a total program for a serious condition like cancer involves using multiple things, and that's sometimes why a lot of people say, oh, I have cancer, I tried natural medicine. Well, what did you try? Was it thorough? Was it complete? Did it include immunotherapy using ozone? Did it include CBD? Did it include ozone colonics? Did it include a vegan diet, green drinks, and all of those kinds of things, including homeopathic medicine, which you can do via a nurse that does IV, okay? So it's called Iscador. Iscador is Viscum album, also, if you break that down, known as mistletoe, and it is made for cancer. It is used in the hospitals all over Europe and clinics for cancer. It's called Iscador, Iscadore, and it is homeopathic, no side effects, and works. I wouldn't use it as your only modality, which is what I'm saying. You need a combination of things. You need to do all the things we're talking about. You don't want to be held back by a practitioner that is just doing one thing, okay? And saying that they have results with just one thing, like nutraceuticals. Because I can tell you that it's going to take a complex variety of natural products and instruments. An instrument would be something that you use outside of a nutraceutical, like CBD or immunotherapy with ozone and ozone colonics and Iscador, which is good for viruses, and other homeopathic formulas, and diet, and becoming a vegan for 6 months to a year. It doesn't have to be for the rest of your life, but it has to have a concerted effort behind it in order to clean your body up, and you need a cleanse. So I make a cleanse called the Whole Body Deep Cleanse. It's good for everyone. It's organic, and it has no kind of preservatives and those kind of things in it. And the interesting thing is that sometimes we read testimonials of people who use it to heal rheumatoid arthritis, and they say, I had this disease, I don't have this disease anymore. They weren't even a patient, they just used the cleanse, and sometimes they'll use it for months. I don't recommend that you use it for months necessarily. If you have any doubt, you could get an appointment with me to determine how long to use the cleanse and what the best program would be for you, for each individual. But it has to be a program that combines different modalities, okay? Not just one modality. And you also have to work with your emotions. And we have the neuroemotional remedies right now. They're on a sale, a lifetime event where you can get 30% off of neuroemotional remedies. I'm doing this as the first time I've ever done it. And I just want people to work on their emotions and to give them the opportunity to do this as inexpensively as possible. It's called Neuroemotional Remedies. And what it does is there's one remedy for every organ. So you've got it relates to the meridians, the acupuncture meridians. So you have, remedy 1 is for bladder to fix bladder issues. Homeopathic, FDA registered. All my homeopathic products have ND and C numbers on them. So it works on the emotion of being irritated and the physical organ, the bladder, to fix whatever is going on with the bladder, whether it's an infection or it's whatever issue it may be. That works with the bladder. There's 13 remedies. That's the first one. The second one is gallbladder. So we have a formula that helps the gallbladder if there's gallbladder pain or something going on with the gallbladder. That is the remedy to use for it. And it also works with the emotion resentment. I mean, I don't know anyone, every human being has resentment, even you, Daryl, from one time or another. You resent something. Even if it's only politics, you resent something. You resent something this morning, see? So when you have chronic resentment going on in your life, it causes gallstones and gallbladder problems. That is proven through the 2,000-year-old Chinese medicine, 5-element theory of Chinese medicine. So that is over 2,000 years ago, they proved that. It's been true ever since. So if you have a gallbladder problem, there's resentment. The neuroemotional remedy number 2 handles the resentment. Neuroemotional remedy number 3 handles heart issues. And there are emotions that, according to the 5-element of Chinese medicine, there are emotions that affect the heart, whether it's tachycardia, whether it's some other heart issue that you can easily use without any side effects, the neuroemotional remedy number 3, to handle any emotions like guilt. I'm sure you've had some of that, Daryl.
This morning.
This morning you had resentment and guilt.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, wow, that's really amazing. You're got a roll on it today. And then also the heart is related to shock and trauma. I don't know anyone who hasn't had a trauma in their life, whether it's a physical trauma that created emotional issue, or if it's just an emotional issue, which is, I'm not saying just because it's not as bad, it's all not good. So any physical trauma or shock, it can affect the heart if it's held in for years. Okay, that affects the heart. Also guilt. Also, we have those are the most important ones, but overwhelm also can be a trauma for the body, or like PTSD, okay? That affects the heart. So that's the heart meridian, and that relates to the actual physical heart. The 4th neuroemotional remedy is for the kidneys. Now, the neuroemotional remedy number 4 deals with kidney function and the emotion fear. So if you have a lot of fear for your whole life, okay, if you're a fearful person, that alone can exacerbate the kidney stones. It can actually help promote kidney stones or exacerbate their getting bigger or them being there, because fear is related to kidney function. And if you have any kidney dysfunction, you want to be on that neuroemotional remedy number 4. Again, it's homeopathic medicine. It's used with children and adults. It has no side effects, and it's registered with our FDA. And then neuroemotional remedy number 5 is for the large intestines, for the colon. And the emotion related to that is stuck. So all those constipated people out there, you want to get on that neuroemotional remedy number 5, which balances the colon, whether it's whether you have too much, if you have diarrhea or you have chronic diarrhea or chronic constipation, you want the neuroemotional remedy number 5. for the large intestines, and the emotion related to that is stuck. Now, neuroemotional remedy number 6 is one of our most popular because it's for the liver. And any liver issues or conditions would benefit your liver greatly if you took the neuroemotional remedy number 6 or the liver, and the emotion related to that is anger, frustration, and rage. And Daryl, that might be another one that you're, dealing with.
This morning.
You had that this morning.
Yeah.
So this morning, he woke up with a plate full. He had on his plate for breakfast, right?
I didn't wake up with them, but they came through the door.
They came through the door. Okay, so anger is related to the liver. And when you have anger, frustration, and rage, and you have it ongoing for years, you're going to have a liver function problem. Maybe you start seeing that your liver enzymes are low or high on your blood tests. And perhaps you'll see that on your blood test. I would look at your emotions as well. Whatever liver issues you have, you must, or physical conditions, you have to look at your emotions related to those organs. Now, the neuroemotional remedy number 7 is for your lungs. It says on the label, lungs and grief. Any grief you're holding on to for your life for a long time, maybe the loss of someone, maybe it's a job, maybe it's something you wish you did and you didn't, and you made the wrong decision, whatever grief you have, okay, and if it's ongoing, will affect your lungs. Now, the interesting thing in this, a lot of people who have a lot of grief and coughing and lung issues, it also affects the colon, because your lungs and your colon are in the same element. It's the metal, metal, metal element in the 5-element theory of Chinese medicine. So your lungs and your colon work off of one another and relate to one another. So if you have a cold, a flu, that's why sometimes you have diarrhea or constipation or something else going on, is because they are connected for your whole life, according to the 5-element theory of Chinese medicine. So number 7 is for grief and for lungs, and it's very, very effective as well. Number 8 is small intestines, and that helps your digestive system. And your digestive system is negatively affected by holding in the emotion and by dealing with the emotion vulnerable. And it's good to be vulnerable, but it's not good to be to feel and be a vulnerable person. I mean that in a negative way, where you're always vulnerable to other people's stuff, or you're so vulnerable that everybody takes advantage of you. So that vulnerability affects your digestive system and causes indigestion, flatulence, digestive system issues. And then number 9 is for the pancreas and the spleen, and it's called pancreas spleen, and the emotions are rejection and low self-esteem. I don't know anyone that has never been rejected except for maybe Daryl. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, everybody has experienced rejection in their life. So number 9, spleen and pancreas, is related to rejection and low self-esteem. You want to get that little remedy home and take that, because you don't need to be carrying around rejection and low self-esteem for any reason, because that is just not who you are. And so in order to experience more of feeling accepted and feeling loved and all of the opposite of rejection and low self-esteem, if you want to feel good self-esteem, we have to start working on the meridian that's related to that and the organs that are related to that, which is spleen, pancreas. Number 9, neuroemotional remedy. Number 10 neuroemotional remedy is called stomach. It balances severe stomach issues, no matter what it is. The emotion that's related to it, or I should say emotions, is disgust and despair. I mean, I'll bet you this morning you were disgusted too, Daryl, right?
Yeah, but not the despair really didn't
Despair
manifest
didn't fit,
itself. No.
but the disgusted was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, disgust or despair. Number 10, neuroemotional remedy. Number 10 for the stomach. That's the important one for those emotions. It also works on the physical organ. So it works on both. It's phenomenal because they have low potencies in them and high potencies in them. So they're dealing with, these remedies are dealing with all of the health issues, the human issues, the human condition, ranging from emotions all the way to that turn into physical health problems. So it's dealing with all the different layers of a condition, all the different levels of the condition. And that's what the low and high potencies do. So then we have the neuroemotional remedy number 11, which is for thyroid and adrenal. Do you know, for those people who have thyroid issues, that that's connected to your adrenal glands? And so the thyroid and adrenal glands are buddies. They're in the same axis, axis. They work together. When you have one problem, you could just have extreme adrenal exhaustion and it will make you have a thyroid problem.